Ladies and gentlemen, is there an equivalent to Mitt Romney in the Democratic Party? Is there somebody within the Democratic Party, either in the Senate or the House of Representatives, that opposed Biden's foreign policy tactic that he implemented 1 month into his presidency to quote-unquote send a message to a region of the world where we still have Americans stationed and fighting, and where we should have withdrawn our presence a long time ago? President Trump signed a negotiated deal to withdraw Americans from a specific country that we've been in for 20 years, and a region of the world where his foreign policy was withdrawing Americans. Do you think there's an equivalent to Mitt Romney, A, opposing President Biden's intervention, or I should say foreign policy tactic 1 month in? I can't use the word because the algorithm, but just ask yourself what Biden did 1 month in to quote-unquote send a message. By the way, to send a message to groups that are funded by a country that he wants to negotiate a nuclear deal with. If you could, so this is the wonderful, wonderful Democratic Party foreign policy. 1 month into your presidency, you send a hawkish message to groups within a region of the world we shouldn't be in after 20 years. We shouldn't even have been in years after we initially... I'm against counterinsurgency conflicts. We should not leave Americans there forever. It's not Germany and Japan. It's completely different. And so President Biden, the wonderful, beloved President Biden, 1 month into his presidency, sends a message to groups that are funded by the same country he wants to deal with, pertaining to trying to curb one of their programs, enrichment programs. And so, where's the equivalent? So I'm like, this is my long-winded way of asking, where's the equivalent? Where's Mitt Romney in the Democratic Party saying, hey, we shouldn't even be there. You don't have to send a message. We shouldn't even be there for you to send a message. And furthermore, you shouldn't negotiate with a country that funds the same groups you're sending a message to. And where's Mitt Romney, the equivalent of Mittens in the Democratic Party, saying, hey, wait a second, Trump negotiated a removal of Americans May 1st, 2021. That's something that should have been championed by the Republican Party. Republicans are complicit in all of this. The party itself, and Mitt Romney is just like... I'll explain how this relates to the Durham probe, but where's the equivalent within the Democratic Party of Mitt Romney saying, hey, wait a second, why is Biden keeping us there indefinitely when Trump already negotiated a withdrawal on May 1st, 2021? Okay, we're supposed to remove Americans from this never-ending counterinsurgency conflict May 1st, 2021. He negotiated a deal. Yet Biden is going to keep us there indefinitely. Keep our men and women there. Keep Americans there indefinitely. And ignore President Trump's negotiated withdrawal. Where's the Mitt Romney within the Democratic Party? Where's that Democrat that'll receive a profile in courage? A JFK profile in courage. So that person doesn't exist. The reason that the Durham probe will take a long time, and we'll likely not see any major development until we see more people until we see Mitt Romney, that type of Republican, fall in line the way Democrats fall in line with their political party. We won't see what we want to see until Republicans speak with one voice. But Romney receives JFK Profile and Courage Award for impeachment vote. That wasn't courageous. That wasn't courageous. Number one, yes, it's true that President Trump shouldn't even have had the protests that day. There should have been a dialogue, discourse, debate, discussion. There was no point in that. There needed to be a national debate, dialogue, discourse, discussion about the claims, about President Trump's claims. When Democrats made baseless allegations, they filtered through a dossier that was purchased by Clinton. They used high-confidence assessments within the wonderful intelligence community that's never been right. You can look at the Bay of Pigs, Gulf of Tonkin, WMD, and now Facebook ads. They outsourced a third-party tech firm to then indict Russian intelligence officials. They fabricated a tinfoil hat theory that Trump might have, possibly, could have worked with Russia. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. And you look, let me just read you this. The Attorney General of D.C. didn't level charges, nor did the Mayor of D.C. They didn't level charges at President Trump. In a court of law, he was not culpable or liable in a court of law because he did not tell people to commit any illegal acts. He didn't tell people to commit a crime. And so they've tried desperately to say, oh my God, he's the ringleader. He told people to do. He's not. They're not leveling charges. They never leveled charges at him in a court of law. Mitt Romney wants to become GOP nominee. This has nothing to do with courage or any noble act. He just simply is doing it because he wants to be the Republican opposition to Trump. What he doesn't realize is he'll be worse than Trump. Democrats have no shame in terms of this type of politics. They're giving him a profile in courage simply for doing exactly what they want him to do. They'll take that JFK profile in courage and they would completely disregard it. If Mitt Romney was the GOP nominee, they would turn him into a worse image or caricature of a Republican than what they did to Trump. President Trump, with his Twitter profile, fed into it, okay? But he did good things. He signed prison reform legislation. He removed Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. That's the antithesis of a despot or authoritarian or tyrant. I mean, if you think that Trump was an authoritarian or tyrant because of his words and disregard all the good things he did, so his actions are the opposite of what an authoritarian would do. Most tyrants or despots don't get investigated by their own intelligence agencies and have all of media after them for 4 years every single day. That doesn't usually happen. So you're pretty clueless. You have imbeciles saying, oh my God, Trump, look at the authoritarians of years past. It's like, what? They signed prison reform. They're known for the First Step Act. And because it was Biden that wrote the crime bill, the 100-to-1 sentencing disparity, by the way. And it was Biden also who pushed Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld's foreign policy and engaged in the failed NATO intervention that caused suffering and chaos and human beings to be bought and sold in that state, in that country, turning it into a failed state, by the way. What's worse than that? I want to know, President Obama's Libya intervention is worse than anything Trump did. Especially from a liberal perspective. Well, I guess liberal perspective, they don't care about that. But what is worse? What did Trump do that's worse? Not like some, grandiose, broad type of, oh, well, he tore apart the fabric of our Constitution. These are all subjective, opinionated, not verbal. It's like verbal refuse. That's what George Orwell called euphemisms. They're meaningless. If your biggest problem with Trump is that he tore apart the fabric of our country, You have nothing specific to say about it. You just don't like his personality. What's worse than what did Trump do that's worse than actually turning a country into a failed state, which is what Biden and President Obama did, and Clinton? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But see, you have Mitt Romney getting awards for doing exactly what Democrats wanted him to do. And until we get Mitt Romney to basically act like the Democrats act within the Democratic Party, the Durham probe will be hampered. Once 2022 hits and you have Trump Republicans taking over the House of Representatives, and when I say Trump Republicans to Democrats, that means like tyrants and authoritarians and despots. No, people who want to remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. That's a moral endeavor. It is immoral to focus on climate change while ignoring the biggest moral dilemma we have. Climate change is important. It's not as important as removing Americans from a powder keg in a region of the world that we shouldn't be in, which, by the way, has a whole bunch of nuclear-powered countries in one location. So if you're worried about the end of the planet, look no further than that region of the world. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back numerous times today.